KOTAWE, Start a Fire, Igniting Cultural Responsiveness Through Community-Determined Intervention Research, All Nations Hope Network, authors Miranda Keewatin and Leona Cusans. Acknowledging Indigenous people and traditional territory. We would like to first take the opportunity to acknowledge that the land on which we facilitate this presentation is on Treaty 4 territory, the traditional territory of the Cree, the Saulteaux, Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. For more information on acknowledging First People in whose traditional territories we live, please visit the site provided below. Outline: Introducing KOTAWE, the co-researchers, sharing KOTAWE'S research story, methods and data collection, moving forward, lessons learned, and recommendation. Fire is one of the 4 elements essential for life. Elder Betty teaches us how women are responsible for carrying fire for the nation. If women are taken care of, so too will the nation be taken care of. Restoring Indigenous women, sharing coal embers to start their home fire is nation building. KOTAWE, Igniting Cultural Responsiveness Through Community-Determined Intervention Research, will create an opportunity for Indigenous women to reflect on and explore their relationships to their health and well-being, and integrate Treaty 4 teachings of women and girls' responsibilities, roles, ceremony, songs, medicine, through ongoing seasonal-driven cultural intervention practices for women at All Nations Hope Network. The project timeline and activities will be framed around women's responsibilities and associated with seasonal work. Authors from the article Stolen Sisters, Second-Class Citizen, Poor Health, The Legacy of Colonization in Canada address how more than a decade of Indigenous-led research documents and impacts the colonization on Indigenous women's personhood, family, political, spiritual life, work, and social systems. As a result, Indigenous women continue to be overrepresented in reports experience with poverty, homelessness, ill health, addiction, trauma, child welfare, and violence. All Nations Hope Network responds to the needs of Indigenous women that have named in local research and aim to develop evidence-informed, culture-responsive interventions that have the potential to address both the origin and the impact of these inequities. The research focuses on Indigenous women from Saskatchewan and is about integrating wisdom from a variety of recently completed research projects focused on various aspects of HIV risk and prevention. This research is about the intersectionality in Indigenous women's lives and how communities and systems can better work together with women and one another to deliver better, sustainable, and affordable integrated care. The co-researchers. The Willow Warriors are the research trainees and the co-researchers for the KOTAWE project. The Willow Warriors participate in Vision Retreat, project and program development, and workshops while continuing to represent the investment and the benefit of strengthening and building the capacity of Indigenous communities. The experience gained by the Willow Warriors demonstrate how resilient and strong women are despite any adversities faced. The teachings by Elder Betty McKenna further this notion of resiliency as she shares that willows trees bend and blow in the wind but never break, just like the Willow Warriors facing hardships, but ultimately their strength conquers all. The Willow Warriors are a crucial element of creating safe spaces for other women as they stand as role models from diverse living experiences, especially for those that are isolated. Monthly activities like sweat lodge, moon ceremony, medicine gathering and processing, skirt making, drum making, land-based learning, sharing circles, and seasonal teachings have all been beneficial for the growth, the development, and the well-being of the Willow Warriors. Sharing KOTAWE'S story. The research project was designed to follow the OCAP principles, which is a protocol used in Canada concerning the ownership, control, access, and possession of Indigenous information and data. This research approach aligns with ownership principle of OCAP set forth by the First Nations Information Government Center. It prioritizes the community members who are directing the research. The project acknowledges the importance of community-based research methods and the importance and value that community members bring to every research aspect. Indigenous research methods, IRM, and community-based research was used to guide the research design, data collection, analysis, and the dissemination of knowledge. The IRM consists of cultural safe research practices while supporting community engagement and self-determination. Culture and ceremony were integral components to every step of this research project. Morningstar Lodge, an Indigenous community-based research lab, has developed and performed the Naneteweno Echekewena Kikamos Kekekeaka Pepes Keke Etes Kekewen Aste Kekewena NAKPA, Cree for medicine, healing stories picked, sorted, and stored. A data analysis method that was adopted from Dr. Judith Borlett work from the Collective Consensual Data Analytic Procedure, also known as CDAP. NACPA is appropriate for the community-based research, and we are incredibly excited to serve our communities with this new innovative method. Sharing Kotawe's story, NACPA findings. 4 themes for each season were found from the CIP questions during the research circle for the KOTAWE project. Identified themes. There were 16 major themes that were identified after the completion of the NACPA session. The table below identifies the 16 themes. External relationship. Many Willow Warriors discussed the importance of external relationships with their community, the Willow Warrior support, and the spirit of their cultural ceremonial items. Connecting holistically. The Willow Warriors also discussed connecting holistically by their experience, connecting to spirit, reconnection of culture, and the drum teaching. COVID. The Willow Warriors verbalized how COVID pandemic has affected their lifestyles and services that they utilize. Rising spirit. The Willow Warriors discussed the rising of their spirit by verbalizing the results of personal awakening, self-care, discipline, and healing. They're uplifting their spirit as well. Sacred gifts of elements. The Willow Warriors discussed the importance of the elements as a sacred gift and how all living things come from them. Community and association. The Willow Warriors verbalized the importance of community and association within their life and within their family. Revitalization of wellness. The Willow Warriors verbalized the importance of revitalization of wellness through completing of the CIPs. Self-fulfillment. The Willow Warriors were self-reflected in speaking of their experiences and their health. Transferring of energy through medicine. The Willow Warriors discussed the transferring of energy through medicines and learning and building that relationship with them as well. Sister acceptance. The Willow Warriors also discussed the importance of sister and acceptance by addressing self-discovery with support and helping one another through difficult times. Walking the Red Road. The Willow Warriors discussed the positive experience of walking the Red Road. The term is a modern English language concept of the right path of life, inspired by beliefs or actions of spiritual teachings. Ancestral insight. The Willow Warriors also discussed their personal ancestral insight. Gift of relationship. The Willow Warriors verbalized the gift of relationships through the relationship building of the CIP. Positive identity. The Willow Warriors discussed their personal journey moving forward with positive identity. Moving forward, lessons learned and recommendation. The Willow Warriors identified many areas of resilience and empowerment among Indigenous women's road to rehabilitation and wellness, and including spirituality, ceremony, connection to culture, elders and knowledge keeper, traditional healing practices, identifying strengths, finding ways to contribute to community, supporting each other, dealing with emotions, family and support services. The important point the Willow Warriors brought up was the initial experience with ceremony and finding spirituality through the CIPs and bringing these teachings into their home fire and community fire. It is important that Indigenous women have access to cultural intervention practices and support various methods from resilience and empowerment, which may include connection to spirituality, culture, elders, knowledge keepers, and as well access to cultural needs. Thank you from the KOTAWE team, Leona Keewatin, Miranda Keewatin, Melanie Kingston, Carolyn Pelche, and Elder Betty McKenna. We'd also like to acknowledge Margaret Kiska Piesis, Dr. Charlotte Lupi, Shohan Isley, Dr. Alexandra King, Sherry Cochran, and Jan Tickner. Thank you.